DJ Xquizit, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Thank you. So tell the fans, where are you from?
Like all my answers are going to be super complicated.
No, of course. Go ahead.
I was born and I'm currently living in Chihuahua, Mexico, but I was raised all throughout the U.S. What I consider home is Denver.
Nice, nice. I'm here in San Diego, so we're not too far away from each other.
Yeah, not at all.
Nice. So tell us, what inspired you to choose your artist name?
Well, I was looking for like Xavier, right? That's my first name. There's an X, and then my maternal last name is Zapata, so there's a Z. And I was like, okay, like I started messing around with a different spelling, and I was like X, C, and I'm like, okay, T, and I'm like excitement, no, exquisite. And then somebody, when I was DJing, wedding, it was a come on. It was a member of the LGBT community that basically said, it's like, oh, short and feisty, how exquisite. And I'm like, that's my name.
I love that. Oh my God. I love that. It's clever too. And it's like your last name, your first name, it's perfect. Love that. So tell us, what is a message you would give to your fans?
Don't give up. And well, the biggest thing is know your market and make sure that you don't like hop around everywhere, because once you choose your focus and you know that that's what you're going to do, there's a lot to learn from there. And so when I say know your market, it's you're always learning. Even 20 years later, there's stuff that I'm learning myself.
No, I completely agree, and that's a good message. Thank you. What do you want to be known for in your music career?
Right now, actually, is what the goal that I originally started, because in dance music, you really don't hear proper dance music on the radio with Spanish lyrics. And so that's one of the things that I want to be known as, like that one that pioneered that sound using like Mexican pop songs, Cuban pop songs, but making them like proper dance music. Before or even now, when you hear dance music with Spanish lyrics, it sounds really 90s. It sounds like it was produced from somebody from the 90s trying to sound modern. And the stuff that I'm putting out now is like, if Tiesto was willing to release in Spanish, that's the kind of music he would actually release. And so I want to put it at that level, and hopefully here in a few years that'll be the impact that I'll have, where people will be like, oh, if it's in Spanish, it's got to be exquisite.
You will, and you put it out in the universe, so it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Tell us, what first got you into music?
Well, I've been messing around with the drums since I was like a baby. Like my mom got me a drum kit and then a piano, but it was when I was in middle school. The middle school that I went to at the time hosted the Denver School of the Arts. I went to Cole Middle School in Denver, and so there was a lot. Well, Denver School of the Arts had an instrumental music program, dance, all that stuff, and I was like, I need to get into that school. And so for 2 years, I took up the French horn, and then later on the baritone horn. And 2 years later, in 8th grade, I was accepted. And then once I was there, one of the very first classes that was offered was MIDI and composition, like music production, MIDI and music production. And that's when I started learning how to use the synthesizers, how to record on DAT tapes. And I'm like, I can use this. And it was within a year that I had a record signed, but it was back in the day, back in the 90s, when it was pressed on vinyl. So there's only like 300 copies out there somewhere.
Nice. Tell us, can you describe the music you typically create?
I would say, well, again, it's complicated.
No.
I started off producing trance. Originally, I started producing a lot of things, but I had a really amazing opportunity with Giuseppe Ottaviani, Black Hole Recordings, and Armin Van Buuren with one of the many songs that I made. And I was like, okay, I think I found my niche. now it's time to apply the advice that I gave at the beginning. And I started going from there. But it wasn't, that genre kind of fizzled out, and my interest in it particularly. And I started wanting to expand my horizon, and I started making music that was more pop. But it wouldn't really sound like it was up to the level that you would hear on the radio. So I started learning, downloading sample packs, trying my best. And now I find that I can produce a song within a few hours, within 2, 3 days, and it be up there. Where if I was to play it, or when I do play it at gigs or at clubs, right after Tiesto, right after Martin Garrix, there's no difference in quality, and people keep dancing like if it was another song from one of those artists. And so that's the goal, is for me to produce music that if it was released by one of these big names, David Guetta, whoever, it would sound exactly like something that they would bring to the table. And so, there's a lot of genres that go in there. Once you get rid of the dance electronic and you go in there, there's slap house, there's deep house, there's hardstyle, there's melodic techno, all of those genres that I'm producing with that goal, with targeting that market and sounding like I belong there.
Yes. Tell us, who would you like to collaborate with?
There's a melodic techno artist that is, his name is Space Motion. I'm not sure where he's from. When I watch him DJ, it's not my style. But when I hear his productions, I'm like, those 10, 15 songs of his that like I absolutely love. And it's a style that I've been trying to get, but I just can't get it to sound like him. So I'm like, it would be awesome if I send him an idea and he can, season it with his flavoring to make it sound like one of his tunes.
Nice, I love that. If you could open a show for any artist, who would that be?
Armin Van Buuren. That's one of the, coming from the trance scene, that's something that would be pretty awesome, where especially right behind him, where I could put like one of those songs where I'm like, top this, especially if it's one of my tunes. Like, yeah, that would be a dream come true.
Armin, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, DJ Xquizit is your man.
For real.
Tell us about your song with Christina Novelli, So Cold. Tell us about that song. What inspired you to write it?
Originally, the instrumental was, my very first track, the one that I mentioned that I had the opportunity with Black Hole Recording, was a remix of a song called First to Go. And the remix got signed, and I was like, well, why don't you sign the original? It's coming out on singles, so include it. And they're like, no, the remix is fine. And so I removed the vocals and I sent it to Christina's manager. And then he goes like, oh yeah, she loves it. Give us a couple months. And then a couple months later, it came through, and I was like, oh, I don't like this. I love this.
Oh, epic. I love that. What would you be doing right now if it weren't for your music career?
Probably working more on the medical field, either as a personal trainer or what I did as a day job before I started doing music full time was as a medical interpreter. So I would translate for the doctors. So it's most likely that I'd probably work on actually getting some sort of certification or degree in medicine or something having to do with the medical field to work alongside doctors, but in more than just translating.
That's beautiful. But we're glad you're in the music business. We love you. Tell us, where have you performed?
Some of the more, I was a resident DJ in Las Vegas, but back in 2000, 2002, before EDM got so big. So like Club Rio, and then I'm not even sure if the Rio Hotel still exists. And then at the rooftop, there was the Voodoo Lounge. And so I was a resident DJ there for a while. So guys like Tiesto and guys like that they would be brought to the convention center. It isn't like now where you have them as residents at the Hard Rock. So that would be one place. More recently, Medusa Festival Mexico. Medusa Festival is a pretty big brand in Spain. It got imported to Mexico. And 100,000 people, so I can't complain.
Wow. Do you ever get nervous playing for a crowd?
Yeah, actually, like those first 5-10 minutes, like you can see where I'm like just getting used to it. But once I'm 15 minutes in, I'm like, oh yeah.
You're in the zone and feeling it.
Yeah.
I love that.
I'm vibing with the crowd.
What's your favorite venue to perform at?
Probably, well, the one venue that I like coming back to is Beta Nightclub in Denver. Like they have, or they, I'm not, yeah, they. I was going to say that during the pandemic they closed down, but they're back again. They have a sound system, the Function One sound system. Function One is so high quality, it sounds like you're listening to studio monitors, but 30,000 watts, and then with a crowd of 900 people, so you can hear every last detail. So there's no way you would just play MP3s ripped from YouTube. You have to play like the original master recording to make it sound great. So that venue I absolutely love.
Oh my God, that's intense.
Yeah.
What's your least favorite venue to perform at?
Probably the clubs where they say that the crowd is an EDM crowd. So I'm over here prepared to play tech house and like stuff that's more underground, and everybody that's there is into reggaeton.
Oh
and so
my God.
and so I have to play out of my element. I learned how to rock that kind of crowd, but it isn't it isn't my forte. So so those venues, because it happens way too often, where it's like, all right, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna rock this techno club and it's gonna be awesome. And 20 minutes into my set, hey, can you play reggaeton? And then the owner comes up, like, hey, can you play reggaeton? And I'm like, all right, here's a Bad Bunny song. There you go.
That's heartbreaking. But I oh my God, that's heartbreaking. And it's like, what? But me, I love anything. So anything is reggaeton, EDM, anything. So I would be an easy person to please.
It happens so often where, like I said, I already have that contemplated, where I have 2 hours worth of that brand of music, and I have every month I go in and I make sure that I have the extended version, the acapellas, everything, because it's gonna happen sooner or later, and it happens at least once a month.
Oh my God. Oh. Do you have any upcoming shows you would like to share?
There's a couple that I'm actually part of one of the organizers. One of them, there's like an Area 51 for Mexico called Zona de Silencio. It's pretty popular, or the Silent Zone, and we're organizing an event there. And so that's the one where like we're still getting the contracts done, everything, but as an organizer, I'm like, stay tuned for that one, because we're going to bring a huge lineup. And then I'm also working with some of the festival promoters for municipalities. So for the ones that throw like the local feria, we're trying to organize like either a rave night or an EDM stage or something, where we can go ahead and bring solid talent, but to the people. So
nice, I love that.
And so we have September 22nd, we have one, and then Zona del Silencio. We have to finalize the artist so we can go ahead and set a fixed date, but we have the venue, we have everything ready to go.
Nice, I love that. Tell us, what famous musicians do you admire?
Probably guitarists. Trance and dance music takes a lot of inspiration from the metal scene. So he's not a metal musician, but Eric Clapton, for example, or the Eagles, or because I can grab like Stairway to Heaven, and there's so much variety. It's so complicated. There's so much that goes into it, where I can make 6 songs from just the different chord progressions that they use, or from the different melodies that are used throughout it, where it's like 6 songs in one. So it's those musicians, like, wow, you guys are creative, man. Like, I don't think I can have a 6-part song a song that has like 6 different sections with 6 different chord progressions with 6 different melodies and all sound like one song in under 5 minutes.
Oh my God. What is your favorite song to perform?
Reality, the song that I did
Reality.
with Jesse and Osito. Every time that I play it, like I wear glasses on purpose because the lyrics like hit home to the point where like there's a tear dropping, and I'm like, I
Oh,
have to hide it because it's so emotional because it's true. If you believe it, it'll come true. It's something that like it isn't just trying; it's knowing that's gonna happen and making it happen, and like the that's the story of my life. So it hits home pretty hard.
it's beautiful. Wow. What's the best advice you've been given?
Best advice I've been given: 2 things. The one is don't try to produce or to make what's popular now. And then it goes into 2 ways. And then the second advice is forecasting the trends. So if I make a song now, I'm making it for 2023. So I'm making a song that I know will be popular once the trend actually takes place, and then using that inspiration, making the song for myself. So not trying to say I'm gonna make this song and I'm gonna sell it to Timmy Trumpet. Instead, it's like I'm gonna make this song, and hopefully Timmy Trumpet's gonna be like, oh yeah, this is right on, and then we can release it as a collab or something. So that like right now, reggaeton is losing steam to an extent, but they're using a lot of vocalists from reggaeton, but they're making them sing typical EDM tunes. So next year there's going to be EDM, but with proper reggaeton vocals. So like that's my forecast. And so right now, I'm actually a really big fan of that genre. Working with those kinds of artists with that idea that in 2023 there's going to be a breakout artist, and I'm going to be able to, like, you see the song, it's #1 on the radio, like here's these 3 songs I made last year that are exactly like it because I knew that this was going to happen. Go ahead and sign them.
Yeah, I think Tiesto has started that, I think, with Becky G.
Becky G, and then Axwell and Ingresso did one with Dana Paola.
Yeah. So I think your prediction is right on point.
Oh, nice. I made a song last year with this prediction, so I already have 2 or 3 tunes already ready to go that were made in 2021.
Nice. So oh my God, I'm gonna be listening for that. Nice.
The other one that I recommend, be on the lookout with Mike Towers, because he's putting out music, but like using proper reggaeton vocals, but he's using very electronic beats. Okay. And so it still hasn't got caught up to proper EDM, but like he's the stepping stone. Like the 3 people that we mentioned, those are the stepping stones. Just wait until you see what happens next year. My prediction's probably going to come true.
It is. I know it is. Tell us what's next for you. You gave us a little snippet right now, but what is next for you?
Right now it's I'm behind the scenes producing. Like that's my main focus. The opportunities that have come up with some of the bigger labels, they've offered me opportunities not just to remix but also to produce some popular artists in Mexico. And so like I want to take that full on. So if I can end up producing 10, 12, 15 songs for pop stars, oh yeah, and proper EDM. Because again, that prediction is like that, I want that to happen. Like if I can grab a pop star like from Mexico and then make a proper EDM tune with them singing it in Spanish and it be a hit, like I want to be that pioneer of that sound. So I'm really focused on that.
Yes, I love that. So tell us, where can the fans find you or find more information about you?
I'm all over the place. DJXquizit.com is the easiest place, obviously. On Instagram, DJ Xquizit. TikTok, DJ Xquizit. SoundCloud, DJ Xquizit. Facebook and YouTube, DJ Xquizit Official. If you look up on YouTube, DJ Xquizit, you'll see my official artist page. So all the music videos, my uploads. Like I upload random interviews and stuff like that. I like to interview a lot of artists, and so those go on there all the time. And then all the platforms. The DJ Xquizit's my main alias, but for the trance fans, Savian. So it's like Savior, but with an or AN at the end. So Savian, that's the trance tunes that I'm putting out. Asathoth, who's what do you call it? He's one of the monsters from H.G. Wells and a bunch of others. So that's the melodic techno and tech house alias, and then Professor Xavier's my hardstyle alias. So all over the place. But everything's consolidated as DJ Xquizit, whether it be TikTok or Facebook or all those places. I post news of all the artists just so that they don't have to follow 15 pages.
Nice, I love that. Thank you so much, DJ Xquizit, for being here, for taking the time. So we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for the opportunity.